Well, family. Would you look at this? Amish children facing forced vaccinations in New York as court ruling crushes religious freedoms. Does it really? Or are people just not asserting themselves properly, right? So when I first kind of came across this case, I immediately was kind of shocked. I'm like, damn, Amish people getting it? They getting it now? And then immediately when I started going back and actually reading through some of the files, I was like, oh, okay. Let's break this down and see exactly where they went wrong. So as I was digging and getting more and more information, I had saw a post that said a federal appeals court ruled against the Amish, rejecting their challenge to New York's repeal of religious exemptions for school vaccinations. I already knew that there was an issue there, right? Because not in any constitution in any of the 50 states does it ever mention a religious exemption, as if it's something that you have to apply for, right? I have told you all time and time again, those are protections of your rights, okay? This isn't something that's negotiable. But when you are out here trying to apply for an exemption, right, then I guess if you're gonna ask, I guess they can tell you no, right? Because clearly you don't know your constitutional protections to assert them properly. That was the first mistake. So free U.S. nationals, we don't apply or ask for our rights. We assert them. And if they are infringed upon, then we hold these people responsible in court for infringing on our constitutional protections. So then when I actually got to read about the case, I can't help but laugh. Check this out. It says, the court noted that medical exemptions are typically tailored to a specific immunization, while religious exemptions apply to all vaccines. The religious exemption sweep had a far greater ability to undermine the state's interest in preventing the spread of the disease, the court said. Now check this part. It says, further, allowing religious exemptions caused clusters of low vaccination rates and an inability to achieve herd immunity in certain communities. Listen, y'all, they mad at the Amish people because they couldn't get them in herds with the vaccinations. Now, last I checked, the Amish were a branch of Christianity. They Christians. So yes, they are definitely protected by the U.S. Constitution, and they too are Englishmen who can assert their English common law rights. Now, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. The part where I think they really messed up in this whole situation was how the school was structured, because they weren't going to public school with public kids. They had their own Amish school. So the fact that the U.S. Department even has the ability, right, to control what's going on in their school already lets me know they didn't structure it in the proper way. I don't care if they have it in a trust. I don't care if they have it in an LLC. The problem is these people probably were doing things domestically. They probably had a domestic trust, or they probably had a domestic LLC. Anyway, they set this business up under the domestic side of commerce. And that means, right, according to the IRS manual, IRC 7701, that they are operating through a domestic trust, through a domestic entity, and domestic courts have all rights to administrate and control over those entities. This is why we teach you all to create and use foreign trusts. So what does the IRS manual say about foreign entities? Nothing really. They just say it's everything opposite than the domestic one, meaning that a U.S. court cannot administer over a foreign trust affairs. Now, you see, what they could have done is created a religious assembly, 508c1a, set it up as a foreign trust, and then they could have actually went, got a bank account for it, did everything, and the government would have not been able to touch them. All right? And if they did infringe on them, now you're infringing on our religious rights and protections. There's a difference, you see, because these people are being taken to court for exemptions that never applied to them, okay? But their constitutional protections did. That's my time, and I hope you all learn to assert your rights. Holla at your boy, man. iselflawandmaster.com. Join the subscription today and start saving your family, y'all. This is basic information we should all know.